Choosing your first camera can be intimidating, but the Nikon D700 makes it simple and easy while still having a pretty fair price. I've tried many cameras over the years, big, small, new, old, but the Nikon D700 has somehow found a perfect balance between older technology and staying up with the pace of the new cameras as well. In this video, I'll be explaining to you why the Nikon D700 is a perfect fit for beginner photographers. And I'll also be letting you know my kit and how I use the camera so that you can get pictures similar to mine if you like them. But you have to ask yourself, why are you buying a camera? Are you a memory snapper? Are you trying to launch your photography career? Do you just love DSLRs? If you said yes to any of this, then this is a great camera for you. Reason number one, they're rather cheap. The body that I looked up is $300 because I don't know everyone's pockets, but for the field, this is a very reasonable price to be paying for a camera that is just this good. Another piece that adds on to that price is the lenses. The lenses are really, really great because of the F-mount. The F-mount allows you to use cameras from the D700, use DX cameras, which is for the APS-C sensors, and then also you can convert it to use vintage glass as well. So that's 3 different fields of lenses that you can use. Yes, the ones that are built for the D700 run perfectly. The others, you might have some vignetting, so you have to do some extra cropping. But when it comes to the price point, and we're talking about prime lenses and zoom lenses, you have a huge array of lenses that you're allowed to use because of this mount. And that's another reason why the body is so amazing, but the glass that you get to use and the opportunity that you have can now make it really cheap, or it can make it super complex and expensive. But that part is up to you. Not until I picked up my Canon 5D Mark III did I realize how many dials and buttons are actually on the D700. And the reason that this is really, really great is because certain settings you don't have to go into the menu for. But as a beginner, there's also other things that you wouldn't know about. So when it comes to area focus, or it comes to light metering balance, you wouldn't really think of these off the top of your head because you're just being handed a camera. So you're not going to go into something and know exactly what you're looking for if it's in a menu. But with the D700, it's actually placed on the outside of the camera. And this is why I love it, because you start to do extra research on, hey, what does this diagram say about this button? Or what does it say about this dial? Or what does this mean? So it naturally just opens up the curiosity about what the camera is saying on the outside, rather than going in and having to dig and figure out what everything is there. Another factor that is for this particular body, or for the Nikon family, I'll say, is high point. So if you use glasses, this viewfinder will still feel perfectly fine, versus say another camera where it feels like the glass in the viewfinder don't truly match up. Not a problem at all. This is perfectly designed for you. And above the viewfinder, you will find the hot shoe. Not just the hot shoe, but the internal flash as well. But if the internal flash isn't enough, you can then put in a flash that is larger, professional grade on top of that. If that isn't good enough, you can then connect a strobe light to it as well. So you have extra things that make the camera far more professional, and you can use it in many different situations. And something that you can't see that's still great is the grip and the weight. It's just an ease of life thing when it comes to the camera that you don't worry about every day, but you definitely take advantage of. This body is perfect inside and out. So let's talk about the inside. What makes the inside so perfect is the 12 megapixel full frame sensor. The full frame part is really great because you get additional help in those low light instances. It might still not be fantastic, but it's definitely a help for those darker moments. The 12 megapixel sensor is fantastic. It's efficient and powerful. The thing that makes it so amazing is that when you're doing portrait photography, you won't have to edit so much in post because it doesn't have all the resolution and pixels that the newest camera would have, meaning you don't have to edit out pores, pimples, and any blemish that you see across the board because it doesn't see all that. It just sees the beauty. And it's still fantastic for landscapes as well if you know what you're doing. And I wouldn't even say I do. But I've heard a lot of great things about this as well. When it comes to my personal kit, I love this setup. I have a 50mm lens because that's just the focal length that I love so much. And the tip is, if you want to keep it cheaper, you can go into 50mm lenses because the lenses are more simplistic on how they're made. I learned this from the comments, so shout out to you guys. If you want something closer to that point and shoot fixed lens that you had already, definitely go with the 35. That allows you to take pictures and have multiple subjects in one sitting, which is possible in any lens, but it's a little bit easier because of the spacing that you have. For the latch system that I use Peak Design, and it's really great because I have several cameras and allows me to move quickly between them. Lastly, for batteries. For the batteries, I just use what they gave me in the kit. I have one that is from the brand Nikon and one from a third party, and they're both excellent. I've never complained about battery for either one of these. And if you made it this far, let me know what your D700 setup is. If you've left it in the comments before, then let me know what your first camera was in the setup that you were using there.